What's going on, y'all? My name is Christopher Willers, and this is the Speak Dads Hour. And as always, I'm here with my co-host, constituent, and founder of Mr. Elliot Raphael. Man, glad to see you on screen, man. We talk oftentimes throughout the week. I'm up here setting some things up behind the scenes. I'm really high tech now, by the way. Mr.
Uh-oh.
Elliot Raphael, how have you been doing? And before we get into this, without saying websites, etc. Um,
Absolutely.
man, tell them what Speak Dads is all about.
It's about creating a place for guys to be able to speak without bias or embarrassment and get support back. It's
That's it.
just that simple. Yeah.
That's it, man. Quick, fast, in a hurry, man. Tonight we're having conversations. We're talking about the three toughest things we believe people go through, specifically young men this
Mhm.
evening. Believe it or not, once upon a time we were young men. we were we were young men. That boy
Yes, sir.
Slim, what's going on, man? I see you. Listen, y'all, very, very important topic tonight. And also, I want to ask everybody, man, make sure you connect with and contact. Go over there to Mr. Elliot Raphael's page, man. Good conversation, good support. And he's got some really informational and hilarious stuff at the same time, man. Um,
Thank you.
but I want to go straight in, man. I want to ask
Mhm.
you before I kind of give what I think are the three toughest things. We can go back and forth, one, or however you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
do it. Give me one of your things off the top that you think is one of the three toughest things young men will face. And the reason I'm saying this right here, and if ladies are on here too, man, y'all might want to stick around
Absolutely.
because if you got a fella in your life. Um, but I recently read this really powerful speech. Chris H, I see you, man. Wrath, everybody. And basically, this powerful speech says a man has to be broke or a person has to be broken 7 times before he can find his greatness. I don't know if that's true. I started counting. I feel like I got like 12 or 13, not even telling jokes.
Well, all right.
You,
You temper a sword, you got to hit it a bunch of times.
well, you got it.
You
You
know what
got
I mean? Like
you got
not
a
to be
point.
funny, but you got to hit it over and over and over again to make something strong.
You
That's
got a
kind of how
point.
you separate stuff. Everything you do requires some kind of strength. At least it's worth it.
So
And I'm a
what is one of the things that would be one of those defining moments for a person then, a young person?
defining moment is the part where you decide what you will and won't do, but not be just reactive. Like one of the hard things about being a young person is you can do whatever you want. That's really cool, but there's also no manual. And so one of the things, my daughter's 14, one of the things that I look out for her with is, what will you go do that will work well for you and provide well for you in this much changing environment?
Yeah.
It's a lot about trying to figure out what to do. You know what I mean? The jig is up about, hey, just do this for 25 years and retire. Cool. So what is it they're going to do? So I think a lot of our young people as a whole do a much better job than we did of looking into diverse options, of getting on TikTok or Instagram. What we're getting on all kind of platforms, let us say. And with doing that and being able to say, hey, I'm going to find my own path. I'm going to find what I can be good at. There's ways that they're finding to do that and be successful that we didn't consider till much later in life. And I think that's awesome. But I
But what's
do.
but what's one of those give me an example. Like I
All
know
right,
young
cool. So
people, they don't want the semantics are
watch
cool,
this. Bet
but
you
give
go to
me some
college for
direct,
what?
huh?
Okay, you go to college for what? How do you
Uh-huh.
afford it? And it's going to cost so much to be able to afford anything. How do you do that and have any sense of a reasonable lifestyle? And the work
Man,
life balance is completely off.
college is like prison. I went, I'm just being honest. Listen, I went to go pick up my niece for one of these breaks,
Hmm.
and I walked up in the college, the dorms,
Hmm.
and it was a penitentiary cell.
Yeah.
The walls were cinder block, and I know there's probably better colleges, but at the same time, this is a college. This ain't no shabby if there's a such thing. Um, but I'm already knowing from the conversation, speaking to her, listening to the young lady that she shares a room with, things are expensive. You're trying to balance things. You're trying to work, go to school. You're trying to get a car. You're trying to find some independence, and it's a very tricky time, by the way, because not to mention everybody around you is not as serious as you probably are. You got peer pressure. You got a bunch of things we can't mention right now on the platform
Hmm.
that's in the,
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
gonna be tested, is what he's saying. when you go off to college, and if it's not college, whatever that first step is out of high school, and you trying to figure out your footing and your foundation into adulthood, the tests, and I'm not saying y'all ain't been tested, because we all got tested age 4, 8.
Right.
But we're just
Right.
saying when you hit 18 and you start to really separate, if you haven't already, it's a whole bunch of different tests. I'm glad you brought that up about college, though.
Yeah, because here's the thing: when you look at, without any joke, when you look at how much things cost, how are you supposed to be able to afford one end or the other?
I don't know
I
the
I
stress
I,
of
I
that.
put a pen to it. You're talking. Listen, you're talking about kids have to really spend 25, 30 grand spent to live. And I'm not talking live extravagant. I don't mean you're living amazing. You live in a, let's say you live in a decent apartment somewhere, and I'm not knocking anybody's standard, but just roll with me on this. So it's
Right,
1,400, but between 1,000 and 1,500 to find a place.
right,
Okay, you haven't turned on any utilities. Let's say you get the world's best deal, and for $1,700, you have everything you need.
right.
That's $400 a week. You haven't eaten anything. You have no car payment. You have no gas. You
Yeah,
ain't
it's
got no
over
health
with.
insurance. Yeah. And so that level of pressure is something that they face at a real level that they're aware of. And that part of it, when you say, like, as what do you worry about for kids? Yeah, that's unbelievably tough. And we can
That-
say that it's not, but that colors every decision. They're having to make the kind of life decisions and maturity at 20 that we had to make at 40.
Well, depending on who you are, I was making some life decisions at like 16.
Agreed. But
I
when
had
it comes to
I had a different, you know. Um,
agree, but
and
but if they're
I
going to make
want
a
to say,
peasants,
and I do want to say this too, though. I know a vast majority of my listeners don't go to college. They don't have
right,
the opportunity to go to college. So
right,
my other question is, and not saying that that's a bad thing, because a lot of my students, 'cause I'm getting ready to start some things, but a lot of my listeners are going into trade schools, other things, so they may not have necessarily those side. But if it's not college, what's another? Because that's very serious, though. We ain't. But, and before I jump over there, and this is not to discourage any young people, I'm gonna say it because the truth needs to be heard.
okay,
A large majority, a large percentage of people that get college degrees don't actually use them. And I just want to be clear. And I'm not saying this to discourage anybody from going. Go get the experience, but
right,
also know that you might go into a different direction when it comes to you identifying and finding out who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I just
yes,
want to note that. And I also understand, and I want to talk about the way that society is now. And again, this is probably depending upon where you live, your upbringing. But in certain cities, especially like Atlanta, nobody has a job. Everybody's an entrepreneur.
hmm,
Everybody's a business owner. Everybody's got a brand. You're 18 to 60. Everybody's doing something. It's
gotta
just,
hustle, yeah,
you know. So what are some other tests out there? Um, I'm gonna let you go one more because I got one I'm about to get into.
hmm,
Matter of fact, let me go, man. I'm gonna get your
go.
feedback.
I was about to say go.
That first serious relationship,
Uh,
the first serious one, not
yeah,
the
hmm,
high school.
hmm,
We talking about first you into adulthood, whether you in college or whatever. You trying to find
hmm,
get you apartment. This is
hmm.
real. That's a test right there.
Oh, unbelievably so. And you don't know what you're doing. Like
Well, you
you might know what you're doing, but what you know of how to do everything you do will change so much that it will seem like ignorance by comparison. That's not to say you don't know now, but like if you're really smart with it now, there's a whole world that opens up. And when you're trying to grow, a lot of times one of the things for young people is what you're talking about in a relationship when somebody wants to grow and the other one doesn't. And at some level, trying to decide what's loyalty and what's being lethargic. You know what I mean? Trying to really figure out that first part of a relationship and what's good for the match and what's not.
I want to give you a scenario and get your feedback because I got into
Mhm.
this discussion with one of my young people. This is still relationship based. This isn't romantic relationship based, but this is
Yeah.
homeboy relationship based, right? Let's just say you started excelling and being the successful one out your circle. You're
Mhm.
getting a little money. You can potentially get enough money where you can free your people up. That,
Yeah.
and when I say that, I mean you may be able to create businesses, etc., or whatever. But you got your brother, your homeboy, your man from age 2 that will not get out the streets. And if you keep, this is the reality situation, because we just had a case down here in Atlanta,
Yeah.
right? And we're talking about the pitfalls that some of our youth face. And I know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that watch, they experience the streets, etc. on there.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they just had a big case. Future's brother, I ain't gonna. Future's brother was sitting in the house, they said allegedly, and got tore off with a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have got tore off with. And Future got $15 million, and now he might get pulled into something.
Yeah.
So I don't know the ins and outs of that situation. That's just the conversation, right? So what do
Mm-hmm.
you tell young people? Basically, what I'm saying is, if they trying to go legit, but they got this homeboy, they don't want to let go. Man, this is my brother. I can't.
All
But if
right. You know what? No, no, no. I got you. I'll keep it 100 with you. No problem. Since you did ask for that, right? That's the most
yeah,
okay, fair enough. I am from South Philadelphia, 24th
hmm
of Tasker to be specific. So I don't really have to hail from explaining my level of danger of the hood I come from in the 80s. I don't mean that disrespectfully to anybody, but if you know, you know, this is the same city that Move happened in. So what I can tell you is this: is there are two kind of homies that I had that I had from the hood. One that said, "I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you will get out of here. Go." And the other kind that said, "I'm going to make sure that I can do everything to impede your progress. Stay."
right.
The
How be-
truth of the
how would
truth of the matter is put the mask on yourself some, and that doesn't mean leave somebody behind. You provide them with an opportunity, and when they say they're not hungry or they don't want to eat, then you go do that and you get that portion of that harvest. You can pick up a corner for somebody because you're trying to help them out, but you can't carry the load. That's enabling.
how many people, young people, are not here now because they still got in the car with their homeboy that knew they was in the streets? How many athletes, college students, whatever, people that was totally never even in the streets, or had gone all
Trying
the
to be
way out,
cool,
but they
right?
didn't let go of their homeboys, they still got in the car. You know the movie, what's the movie, Boys in the Hood? Let me out
Yeah,
though. Let me
yeah,
out though.
yeah.
What do you say though? I mean, if you known him all your life, how do you deal with him if he just refused? What does that look like? Total separation? Does that look like FaceTime? What does that look like?
It looks like you sit down with somebody, you sit them down when nobody's around to have a genuine conversation about your goals. You're going to find out a very hard lesson. That person either believes in your ability to make changes or they don't. And then you're going to make a really tough decision. You either believe in them enough or you don't. And that's all of it. And I don't mean that disrespectful to anybody, but at some level, it turns into, if you are trying to move positive, let's move together. If we're not, you're not. I'm not mad at you, bro. I never stopped loving you, but I've got to go this direction. If that's a way you refuse to go and you're saying me improving myself means we can't be friends, that's your call. I never stopped caring about you. I
That's
just chose
low,
different boundaries
yo.
for my interaction.
That when that is the craziest thing though. When you got a homeboy that's making it or on his way or whatever it is, like you should
Mm-hmm,
be doing everything in your power to make
mm-hmm,
sure he's good. And what that means is, if you're gonna keep on with the negative, or you're gonna be in the streets, or you're gonna be doing what you shouldn't be doing, you shouldn't be around your homeboy if you know he got something going on. But I want to tell you what my perspective on that is. A lot of people is selfish in a relationship. They really not thinking about the other side the way you think they are.
right.
A lot of people, they dress it up. Not everybody, don't get it twisted. You got some sincere people in your camp, I hope. I know I do.
Mm-hmm,
But there
absolutely.
are some people that, as long as it's 70% them, they not really concerned with what you really got going on, right? And I want to
No.
say this to the young people, man. Listen, if y'all want longevity, because like we said, once upon a time, we were young people. Once upon a time, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
want longevity, you got to learn to really establish boundaries, man. You really got to learn to say, bruh, you don't care about your life. I care about mine. Get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Because, yo, there's no reset. And there's people right now sitting in prison 40 years because they didn't know how to say, bruh, I'm not in the streets. No, I'm not going that way. I don't do that no more. You
I've
know what
had
I'm saying?
friends
And
that
that's
told me
scary.
slow down. Why? I'm trying to go home. I used to have a friend that would tell me on a regular basis, go, hey, listen, man, I got a lot to live for, bro. I'm gonna need you to drive like you got some sense. And that was his anthem over and over and over again. And mind you, we went to high school together, so it wasn't like he was the most responsible person at the time by any stretch of the imagination. But you got to decide which way you're going.
Bro, peer pressure taking people out, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's
Why
so
you go do
crazy?
your time by yourself?
That's exactly peer pressure. Peer pressure is putting people in situations. They ride with their homies when they really don't want to, or they get in situations they really don't want to. They may want to ride with their home, but they don't want to be in this situation because that's possible, right?
Yeah,
But
of
then
course.
they're there behind the wall doing the time by themselves. There's nothing. It's over with. And then
Yeah.
I don't want to get all the way and drift off, but then there's no guarantee that your people is going to be loyal to you, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't even want to get into that, but
No.
we're speaking about pitfalls and these traps that we can face. I'm gonna tell you another trap: money, financial literacy. Like if I really had somebody to sit down with me back in the day, and you might have, it's different. I just want to, like I said, some people go to college, some people go here, some people got parents to teach them all that. My mother, what she first, she was born in 48 in the South. Okay. So we know what's up with the school system. But my mother's thugged it out. She lives well because she retired 27 years from a company, but she fought to get her GED. Financial literacy was not a thing when it came to my family. We just didn't know it. We just like a lot of families, not all, some families got it, right? But yo, if young people were actually taught financial literacy, even the brothers that's getting in the streets or whatever, like things would shift because money and the pressure of money is what lands so many people in bad situations. And it's not just prison. Last month was Men's National Mental Health Awareness Month. For how I see everybody, I see in a positive everybody, man. Byron, thank y'all. We see y'all, man. As we get into this conversation. But that money pressure, especially for the fellas, the young men, because we got social media, you got the 23-year-old faking. And I ain't gonna say every 23-year-old fake. Some
I know
23-year-old got
exactly
it.
what you mean. Right.
Some of them got, but there's a lot. Period. And it ain't about age. You got 42-year-old faking. You got all types of ages
Yeah.
faking on the internet. But in
Yeah.
my head, when I'm watching it, it's real. I'm working at Amazon for 12 hours, and then I'm watching young man over here, 20 years old. He in Miami on jet skis on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.
Right.
Talking about if you want to be an entrepreneur. That's pressure.
Yes.
That's pressure.
Yes.
Somebody just asked me if I'm coming back to the UFC. I am not. I am old now. That's another time. We'll tell
Right.
Elliot about that story another time.
He's like, I'm gonna be a UFC player. Listen,
Anyway,
I'm not
but
not
what
saying
I
you're not him.
mean, yeah, no, I'm old now.
That's what it is.
The hands is all. Trust me, it's like
Right. Like
I
I'm
gotta wear the
sure.
copper tone gloves
Yep.
now.
Yep. Yep. That recoup isn't what it used to be. I don't care what you say. You'll find out.
Yo, listen though, but the money thing is a trick because we in a situation now where a lot of young people are taking federal chances, might end up in a situation. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of people. You know
Where
what
it's
I'm
1,000
saying?
times easier to get caught than it ever was. Yeah.
It's different, man. You understand what I'm
Everybody's got
saying?
a camera. Yes.
What do you say?
Yes.
What do you say to the young people when it comes to financial? And by the way, when you're older, depending upon the situations, when you make young, the pressures will be more. But anyway, what do you say?
All right. Listen, there's the simple math. There's a thing they call FU money, and it goes like this. You put money in an IRA, you do so for about 15, 20 years. By the time it amasses over about a 20-year period, you end up maybe 30-year period, really, really set up the way that you want. You end up with $2.5 million.
But
At
I
that
don't want
point,
to.
you're
I don't got 30 years, Elliot. I ain't trying
exactly
to.
what exactly. So watch this. So instead of all that, why don't you take your money and what you want, the thing that you want the absolute most, decide you want to wild out, cool. Go live that life once every 3 months. And for one weekend, go be that dude and really enjoy it. But some of it's going to require discipline because it's not my fault that it costs $2,500 a month to breathe. I didn't do that to you. That isn't me. I didn't do the price of eggs, gas, insurance, car, that to you. So the real truth is, whether I like it or you like it, either way, there's a Vic. So if you,
Either
no matter
way,
how you slice it, you're gonna have to pay something. So
and
give
if you go,
yourself some goals. Like here's the thing: actually own some stuff. You
Yeah.
want to do something different? Buy it. But actually buy it after you pay some bills and then buy it outright. Don't have any payments on it. Literally just pay for it. And
Yeah.
that way you got what you really want and you have. And when you want to get more of it, you know exactly what you're trading. And
Yeah,
if
man.
not, then you don't realize the cost of it over time. So I agree with freedom and not waiting 30 years and not be trapped and let's not be stuck. Okay, then stop buying it on time because they didn't all pay for it.
Right. But I do want to be clear what he was saying. Yo, you should, if you should be patient, take your time and invest something, right?
So,
But
dude, put $12 a week away in a Robinhood, bro. Do something.
yeah,
Anything.
something, anything.
Anything.
You know what I'm
Anything.
saying?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, right? Like when you really think about the pressures that people face, and I look at
Mm-hmm.
in just the different things, and I'm not talking about just like I said, prison depression and anxiety and fear and all these, man. Yo, it's because of what's going on financially. And a lot of young people and older people, whatever, they know how to get money, they can hustle, they can start,
Mm-hmm.
they can work hard, they can do all this, right? But they don't know how to keep it going. A lot of us
Right.
didn't. I know I didn't really know how to budget. Budget was like it's so that's a very simple. We do a budget once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on what's going on, whatever. Back then, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about none of that. I'm
And we had
spending.
room to not. That's what I'm saying. For
I had a checkbook back then, Elliot.
you too?
Guess what? I can't even, man. I can't even go back to that bank. I had no. I'm telling you, it's been 20 years. I probably still can't go back. I'm. I had no understanding. You know what? I didn't. It's not that I didn't have no understanding of financial. Like, obviously, I probably
I
would have.
wrote so many bad checks, bro, without
Right.
meaning to. Like, not intentionally. Like,
I don't even know.
literally, I didn't know the difference in. If I saw there's money in my account, I'm gonna
Right.
write a check. You know what I
I'm using my
mean?
card. I'm using my check. I'm not really using no rhyme or It's whatever comes out first. What I have with me today.
Yep.
And next
Yep.
thing I know, I'm getting calls.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes, I do.
Yo,
Yes, I do.
listen, King, I see you. I appreciate it, man. If y'all got questions, please put them in the chat. We over here having conversations, man. I see y'all too, man.
Hmm.
Listen, the financial piece, y'all. Anybody watching, and this is young or old, take some time. Like, watch a YouTube video a day. You could watch a YouTube short a day on financial literacy or whatever it is you want to watch. Like, watch
Hmm.
something. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And just make sure you put yourself in a situation where you're a little bit more educated, especially when it comes to your money. Money is not everything, and money causes problems, but money does solve a lot of things. I don't want to say that in the wrong context or somebody to misunderstand that, but you want to be able to pay your bills. You want to be
Yes.
able to not necessarily, 30 years from now or when you're 75, still got to work backbreaking labor. There's
Right.
people that go through situations like that where they knew they should have made the decision. They thought it was a joke. They played around over and over and over again. And they probably had a whole lot of fun, by the way, their whole lives. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
probably had a whole lot of fun.
Mhm.
But when they get older, they like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a real it's a serious situation, man. Um, somebody said, here's a question. Oh, this is for me right here. Did I have children when I went in? If not, how am I adjusting to fatherhood now? Um, I did not have children going in. I got taken for 3 paternity tests while I was incarcerated. No, well, that's a whole nother story. We'll do some stuff on that. I don't, and I didn't, and then I didn't when I first came home for 6 years. A lot of people, depending on how long you've been watching me, some people think I might have came home 6 months ago. I've been home since January 13th, 2020. So I've lived about 7 lives since in about 6 years, honestly. Um, but just became a father this year, November 3rd. I think what is today? December 3rd or 4th? The 4th. So about a month ago. And I'm adjusting. I'm adjusting. It's scary. You hear new noises. I'm more scared of this, but not in like I think it's like I don't want nothing bad happen to him, right?
Yeah.
But this compared to a prison yard, this is scarier because it's not just my life. It's my son's. Today he had mucus. I'm up there. I'm looking stuff up. Bro had just sent me some last night. He got a lot of mucus. I ain't never seen him like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But he's good. He'll be okay. He got a doctor's appointment. We keep going. But um overall, I say fatherhood
Get the
for
straw.
me, huh?
Get the
Yeah.
straw.
Yep. That's what I was thinking about. Boop.
The
I don't
mucus straw. Yep, that's the
yep.
way.
And for me, fatherhood is making me even more focused. You know what I'm saying? And not just
Mhm.
focused, but also um motivated. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, like I'm not even I think I finally figured out what everybody was saying. You know what I'm saying? I think that just without putting in words, I think you figured out when you have a whole nother life as responsibility, you find motivation, energy. And
Mhm.
I already had a motor. I was
Yeah.
already somebody that
Yeah.
tried to work the hardest in the room. But now, hey, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I want to do
Mhm.
my part for my son and keep helping people and all that. So fatherhood's been good to me. It's been developing me, which is good, y'all. Shout out to all the dads too, right? And
Mhm.
any of the dads that ever fought through anything, anything, any obstacle, any hurdle. Again, it doesn't have to be prison bars. It could be anything, man. If you just fighting through some bad years or whatever it was, man, shout out to you for still being in your kid's
Mhm.
life. Um, that's major. Everybody doesn't make that decision to fight through so they can. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I
Mhm.
also want to say shout out to me for being sober because I can be present and aware and I can actually watch
Mhm.
over my son. And I can only imagine if I hadn't made that choice, a few years back. So
Mhm.
I just want to give myself a little credit as I was reflecting on that. And anybody else that's made a decision similar, man. You gotta make shifts, and
It's huge.
prepare. Anybody that wants something in life, whether it's a child, whether it's a business or whatever, even if you don't have the money to make it, you want a family, but you ain't met the lady yet to have the start preparing now. Start preparing.
Boy. Yeah.
Give them that.
No.
What's the importance of preparing when you're younger?
Okay. Someday when you meet her, let's say you're 25, right? But let's say whenever you are, whatever your age you are, it doesn't matter. When you really, after that first relationship, and it goes however it ends for whatever reason, and you kind of get a rhythm in like what you really want. And maybe you knew the very first time it didn't work out. Maybe it takes a few relationships to figure it out. But once you get to that part, you want to be ready. And here's why. Because you want to be so solid on the build that there's nothing like it. I promise you, if when you have a little bit of financial literacy and a little bit of discipline, when you have your goals set up and you're ready and your nest is better feathered, you get better quality. You get a better option of what you're offering to somebody, not because you get a better person, but because you're bringing a better one. Because then you're not looking subconsciously or any other way for those aspects. You got that covered. I'm not looking for meat, potatoes, gravy's nice. It'd be nice to have some biscuits, but I got all the meat, potatoes, and veggies I need. Got
Yeah,
some sweet tea too, Mama. I'm good. Now, mind you, you want to come over, touch a home, all that good stuff. I'm not knocking that, but that way you're inviting somebody into something, and then they want to bring something better to you. You know what I mean? If you go to somebody's house and it's not put together, you feel like you don't have to bring anything. You go to somebody's house, they are welcoming, inviting, doing the best they can, regardless of their financial standard. You feel differently welcomed, and
yeah,
that's pride of self. Yeah, there's one of the hard things we were talking about, things that are hard for young people, right? It's
hmm
hard to sift through like what's good and what's bad, right? Because
yeah,
there's a bunch of people that say do all this stuff, it doesn't work or does it not, is it good, is it bad, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And now there's a lot more voices, which is good, but also a lot more bad voices. You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I have learned is certain habits are good. Making your bed's one of them, whether I like to admit it or not.
yeah,
It's a really good thing. Certain things that help you focus are really good, but you got to pick what they are for you. Thank God there's a bunch of different ways to find them. You can Google it, YouTube it, like you're talking about, no matter what your style is. And I think that's awesome, but it's definitely a concern.
Yo, you know what I can't stand? As I was sitting there listening to you give some great information to young people and people in general, I can't stand old people that don't take the time out to give young people information and I
Yeah,
can't stand
no.
they'll sit And I'm talking about my age and all around my age and older and all that.
Hmm.
You sit, you complain, yo, they doing this, but you haven't taken 2 seconds to try to have a conversation with one of these young people. I live in Atlanta. Listen, I be all over Boulder Crest, Cleveland Ave, Candler Road. I be everywhere, y'all. I promise you. And I be all over the country. And I be on Kensington Ave. I be places y'all trust me. I don't even want to be, but I'm there because I do the work.
Right.
But let me tell you what happens when I see the young men, and I'm gonna use, because this is an image that's always highlighted, even though we know the quarter zip movement is in effect right now. But
Hmm.
the young men that's wearing black all the time, the hoodies, the jeans, all that, them be the ones that hold
Hmm.
the door open for me and say, "What's up, OG?" I ain't never had no problem. I've never had a young person, and I'm not saying, because you got good people all ages, colors, and bad people all ages, colors, and all that.
Hmm.
But me personally, I ain't never had a young man, because I ain't gonna say, come to me just off the rip with negativity. Every time it's been respect. And also what I've seen is when I gave that respect back, or if I initiated it first, there's always an opportunity for some type of brief conversation, if not more.
Yes.
It's almost like young people want the game, they want the information, but ain't none of us giving it. So they, of course, they're gonna be frustrated with us.
Hmm.
What do
And
you?
if you
Go
if
ahead.
you pull them, if you pull somebody aside, right, and tell them, like growing up, I was lucky. I had guys that would at least tell me. Does that make sense? From all
Mm-hmm.
around the neighborhood, all walks of life, that would tell me. So most of the time, I find if you actually approach a young person, and you're like, "Hey, listen, can I share something with you?" Whether they agree with you or not, they'll at least listen to you.
At least
You know what
they
I
at
mean?
least
That's a
all right,
lot.
OG. They'll hit you with
You
the
know what
eye,
I mean?
OG.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, all right, yeah, I hear you, man. Like, listen,
That's
yeah,
all
all
I
right,
need,
like,
though. I just want you to, in case it pop up later, I just want you to remember you said, "All right, OG."
somebody told you, and maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, but it won't hurt you. Does that make sense? I
That's a
know what
great
I'm
way to
telling
say
you
it.
won't hurt you.
Yeah,
It won't lead you wrong. So outside of that, maybe it takes you a while to figure it out. And if you're like, man, you know what, I kind of figured out, okay, cool. But
yeah,
that part is, I think they're more aware of not wanting to be disrespected while they're being taught. We were taught that the
yeah.
disrespect was natural and you got to earn the respect. They said, I don't need the disrespect on top of it. So if you want to tell me something, tell me something. If I don't know, put me on.
Right.
Otherwise, you know what I mean?
And don't
And I
talk to
think
these young people like they don't know what's going on. They've seen more at their age than a lot of us seen at ours, especially in
that's what
this
I'm saying.
generation.
And if they haven't seen it, then they can look it up.
Somebody said you look like Steph Curry. I said Steph Curry looks like you because you're older. I'm just saying, what you got a comment
Right?
for that?
No, I
Because
appreciate it.
if you got
Listen,
Steph Curry money, I
I
need
wish.
more.
Listen, I get Steph Curry money. We all gonna do a couple different things, bro. I promise you that. I
Yeah.
guarantee you that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, when when you think about it, right? And I'm
Hmm.
just sitting here, a lot of older people again, man, they don't want to talk to younger people. When I say that, I'm talking about specifically like I'm getting ready to go speak at a place where the age group is 17 to 24. Very, very volatile, serious situation. That's when you're teenagers to young adult, right?
Hmm.
And I was speaking to the lady that runs the program, and I was just thinking about some. I was like, "Yo, what topic should I touch on?" And you know, um, emotional intelligence came up, conflict resolution, um, effective
Yeah.
communication, which are all three things that I enjoy teaching, right? But
Hmm.
what are the importance of these things? We spoke about financial literacy, but now break down what emotional intelligence is and why it's so important, especially I know everybody don't think we from the hood because we older and we don't walk around or whatever. I don't know
Right.
how by the way, I don't know what you're supposed to look like if you're from the hood because I know all types of people from the hood. But anyway, it is important emotional intelligence, especially certain environments, areas,
Yeah.
situations.
Well, oh,
What is that for the young people? And break it down, if you
okay.
will.
Emotional intelligence is required in every situation that you go in, whether you're in the country club or the corner. And if you don't know the difference in those two, then you lack emotional intelligence. If you don't know when to be tense and when to strike, then you lack emotional intelligence. And all you're doing when you teach people that you're aggressive everywhere is showing them that you're afraid. It doesn't really empower them. They just want to get away from you. The truth of emotional intelligence is it really starts with somebody being humble enough to listen most of the time. And the really cool byproduct of that is other people feel cared about and it works everywhere you go. If you literally can display emotional intelligence and a willingness to listen, then you have the ability to know it's not about what somebody says and not letting them say it. You're not going to stop them from saying it. They're just completing a thought out loud. That's already done. If you want to be emotionally intelligent and want to change their mind, then at least let them feel heard. It takes down a wall naturally for people. In aggressive situations, emotional intelligence makes you safer because you want the guy that started the aggression to wait as long as possible because each passing moment, he's not getting stronger. Adrenal reserves are working against him. But that's something you know if you're small when you grow up in the hood and have to carry your key while you walk about 10 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a different kind of awareness that you have to have to move it. But what if you're going to be so decisive and so empowered, then be smart enough to sit down some. It's not about being aggressive. It's about if you are going to be aggressive, then sometimes aggressive means shutting up. One
Yeah,
of the best lessons I learned if I wanted to be assertive, aggressive, some of the best, most assertive guys I know don't talk a lot.
this is
You
true.
know what I mean? They state their point simply. It is what it is, cross the line or don't, and go from there. But emotional intelligence, if you can't figure that part out, right? Look at it simple. Is what I'm saying going to help or hurt somebody right now?
Right.
Not tomorrow, not next week. You can tell somebody the truth and say a lot of brutal things that they won't heal from. Or you can tell somebody what is going to help them now and then try something crazy. Ask if they want to hear the rest.
Yeah.
That's emotional intelligence. It's not about inflicting your viewpoint. Most people call emotional intelligence a series of punishments where they either act ice cold or they say whatever they want to and self justify. Being intelligent says both of those are reactions. I'm going to respond. So give me a minute. Let me think about this because I want to be heard and I want it to matter and I am important. So I'm not just going to throw whatever out. That's the intelligence part. And young people, when they are learning to couple their spending, their emotional intelligence, and their empowerment with their experience that they have, are doing amazing things. That's the one thing that gives me hope with young people. That's why when I ask somebody, when I started this, I went, "Hey, can you ask me a question? Can you explain this to me? How do I use TikTok better? Or how do I do this?" They're the ones that show me, that take
Yeah.
the time to go, "Hey, this is how it works, bro. This is how you do it, OG. This is how, thank you, man. I really appreciate it." Yeah, and then do this to edit it. So I'm like, wow, bro, thanks a lot, man. Those things are priceless.
Yeah.
But if I don't have the emotional intelligence to put my ego down and go, "Yo, I know I don't know. Could you please teach me?" Then so be it. That's that part of it. So not being willing. Let me tell you something. The smartest thing I learned about emotional intelligence is it means you're in control of your own emotions. Be a smarter man than I was for decades. And don't let somebody saying something push a button that makes you act. You be
Yeah.
in charge of how you act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence is what allows us to stay alive. I'm talking to the fellas right now. Emotional intelligence is to not allow anyone or anything externally influence your actions by having control of you via your emotions. When you make decisions based on how you feel, 99.99% of the time, even in a good moment, could go wrong. You should always make decisions based on facts. If we get this part and we get this part true and we get it early on in our life, the better our life is going forward. And not just in those moments that could go left. This is something, if we learn this emotional intelligence, our relationships are better. Like, let's be all the way clear. How many of us are in relationships where sometimes it's like everything the person does, it's like, oh my goodness, right? No, I'm gonna be
Apply,
clear. Huh?
let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
How much emotional intelligence do you apply when you're dealing with somebody that's stressed out? Like when you work
I
in recovery, somebody and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this is all that I'm dealing with, and it's total fireball." How does that work for you with emotional intelligence?
Shout out to everybody, man. Nathaniel, Trey, Mello, Kareem, Jake, everybody I see. I exercise emotional intelligence to the best of my ability at all times, 24 hours a day, whether I'm working with someone or not. Whether I'm just sitting here in my study getting ready to send out 6 emails because there's probably 4 deadlines attached to them. I do a whole lot outside of what everybody that knows me in different ways knows what I do. So I have to always focus on keeping my emotions as balanced and as even keel as possible. Are they always like that? No, no, they're not. But um, me working and at implementing emotional intelligence as an adult, starting back in 2022, therapy, support groups, making sure I got the right people around me, holding myself accountable. I've gotten way better at it
What
because
does the
there was
right
a
people look
time.
like?
Yeah, there was a time. Now it's pretty hard to shake me. And I also want to say this: when you fight to obtain,
Hey, what's up, yo? One of the coolest things about fighting and obtaining is being able to move forward. But one of the coolest things I know about this dude that he probably won't tell you is absolutely genuine about making the effort. No excuses and a constant effort that is ridiculous. There's part of that that's really amazing. I've literally never seen somebody that makes that kind of consistent effort without any excuses and isn't ego driven about it. The part he won't say is humility. And he does a really good job of that part. He doesn't say that a lot, which kind of comes with the humble part, but it is a really big part of it. The man
whatever
does
he
work and
said,
spend
don't
the
believe
time.
him. I don't know what he said. We had a little technical. Thank you for that's teamwork. But
My dream work.
when you fight for something in your life, like something that you dreamed of, so a goal that's established, the easier it becomes to practice emotional intelligence. When you have something you want to get home to, when you maybe it's a car you working on that you saved up for. It doesn't always have to be a person. It could be your
No.
dog. So I some days I'm out there and I got 3 dogs. I got a son too, a wife. Listen, sometimes I just want to see my dog. And when you have something, it's easier. But when you have nothing and you're just floating through life and you don't, it's kind of tougher to implement. And I want to say this really quick, man. If you don't, that means somebody else can control you like a video game. And I ask you, how many people are in situations right now that don't want to be in these situations because they allow their emotions to get involved because they didn't choose the fact. Choosing the fact, the emotional intelligence part is choosing the fact, and sometimes choosing the fact is that's the thing that's gonna hurt,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's what. But these are the things like we were speaking about towards the beginning. These are the things that define us. You got one life. You can either play around, think it's a game, and respond to everything everybody throws at you consistently until it's over with, or you can truly take control. You
Oh,
can.
shout out. I got my first crazy person on YouTube. I'm sorry, on a different platform. You've been proud of me. I got my first crazy comment from somebody.
Oh, we
I was like,
always get.
oh, yeah, no, I think it's one of those things. That's part for the course.
Yeah,
But some of that,
you got
bro,
them. Let me break
I
those
think it's
down
awesome.
for you really quick.
I think they're fantastic. It's
My
hilarious to
friend
watch.
is newer. This is emotional intelligence being played. So when you're on the internet, when you do the things that we're doing, you got a lot of people to support, and you got some people that just wake up first thing in the morning. They didn't change their
Juice
cat's litter
mileage,
box.
bro.
They're sitting in the basement of somebody else's house on a Google phone, right? And that's okay. We're not knocking that, right? But this is the reality of the situation. What I like to do when I get certain comments is I use them for educational moments, right? Because no matter what, I simply say this. Typically, it's done by people that have no faces attached to profiles. That's one. Number two, you can say what you want, but I reach over 100 million people every single month consistently. That's
Mhm.
all God and that's all hard work. And that's what I focus on. And the reason I spoke on that is another element of emotional intelligence is focusing on the blessing, man. There's plenty of people that's going to try to throw curses out there. They're going to try to
Mhm.
trick you up. They're going to try to get your attention, your focus off of what's good. Man, blow by that. Stay
Mhm.
focused on what you should be staying focused on. Emotions get involved typically when it comes to young people in a negative way because people are trying to get in the way of whatever it is that could be good, bad, and whatever. But ultimately, it's somebody that's trying to rock you to your core. It's somebody that wants to evoke an emotion. It's somebody that does not want to see you respond in a good way.
Mhm.
And typically, if somebody's going there with you, they don't care about their life like that. So if they don't care about the outcome of the situation to the point that they're pushing something, and this is for my people that's out there in certain ways, that should
Mhm.
tell you this ain't nobody I should be wasting my life on, because even if you win, you lose.
Mhm.
And then let's go to the relationship aspect. Man, my girl on my nerves. Listen, you argue with her over, you gonna argue with her because I don't even know. I can't even think of a reason, because I honestly, I'm not even making this up. I don't argue with my wife. We do a lot of work, thank God, right? But what's an old argument we used to have? I don't even know. Oh, TV or something. I don't want to watch TV with her. Now it turns into a thing. I can go back and forth with her, right? And we can go and I could try to prove my point. But for what? Because even if I try to address the situation or the whatever it is through my
Yeah.
emotion, even if I win, somebody's feelings is going to be hurt. Now it's still emotions involved. And now I
Mhm.
still got to go through an uncomfortable process. You know what's easier than that? You're right, babe. Because it's not that serious. Everything we dealing with, whenever you run into a situation, before you start to get emotionally invested,
Mhm.
ask yourself, is it that serious? Should I actually lend this amount of emotion or energy or time or effort into this? Or should I just walk away real quick?
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Yeah, that's simple. And that's one of the hard things about being a young person is now you can.
Very
Doesn't
hard.
necessarily mean you should, but not that you can't. Nobody's telling you can't,
Yeah.
but maybe you should. Just think about it a little bit. Does it make really good sense tomorrow?
Robin Brown, we see you. I'm not even going to read that. That's not, Lord. There's a lot of MMA fighters in the comments today. I said,
There
shout
you
out to
go.
everybody. Somebody's
See?
trying to send me a I'm old now, by the way. Listen, listen. In another time.
Right.
But yo, this emotional intelligence thing, which is conflict resolution. You're gonna run into conflicts. You're gonna be
Hmm.
at the workplace. You're gonna be dealing with a supervisor, because conflict isn't always physical. It could just be like mental conflict. You
Hmm.
could need this job. Your baby need Pampers, rent's due, your manager's on your head for no reason, just because it's
Hmm.
Tuesday and they've been working there for 20 years and they don't like it.
Hmm.
You can respond emotionally, but then there's going to be a bunch of negative chain reaction event. You're going to not be able to possibly pay your rent. Your lady may be stressed out now trying to figure out things with you, the financial burden. You may have to borrow money to go get Pampers. There's always a chain of reaction. So if you do go the
Hmm.
emotional route and you tell your supervisor, "Oh, I'm up out of here," you better have a plan all the way through. If not, then you got to respond the right way. You got to exercise emotional intelligence. Maybe you got to go to HR. No, I don't know. Well, maybe, but whatever you got to do, you know what I'm saying? Until you can switch jobs or whatever. But this is another example of it, man. Comes in different ways.
Conflict resolution starts. The funniest, the hardest part about conflict resolution is it starts by you stopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
The biggest part of any conflict resolution. What are you going to do? You're going to have to stop. Why? Or there can be no resolution.
Yeah.
So at some levels, just give it some time. And here's the other thing. A lot of times it's not you. Like there's not anything you can do to fix it. Sometimes people are just off. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean some people are just they had a bad day, so they're gonna blast you about it no matter what. And yes, that's terrible, but sometimes you got to choose your battles, just like you're saying. You know what I mean? Figure out where it's really worth the fight and where it's not. Because it's not gonna be worth every fight.
Absolutely, man.
It's just
You got
not
to know.
too much time.
Yeah. And you got to know when to go home, man. You got to know when that's another emotional intelligence. You got to know when to go home. You got to know when it's getting thick in there. You got
Mm-hmm.
to know
Mm-hmm.
when you're not supposed to be in certain environment. This is a game of longevity. And the first rule of natural law and order is self-preservation. Without that, it's over.
There. There.
Ain't nothing else going on. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you're really serious about making a shift, that means when your people call and they want you to go out here at 1 a.m. or whatever, and you might not want to take that ride. There's a
Mm-hmm.
10 p.m. rule, and I try to encourage, and it for depending on how old you are, it's really 8 p.m. But The 10 p.m. rule, Elliot might have heard this, is
Oh yeah.
at 10 p.m. and after is when the worst of the worst is out there in the streets. Not just the worst criminals and all, the worst police because they out there for the worst criminal, the worst like there's nothing. If you out the house after 10 p.m., I get it. You want to have fun. You want to spend $500 on a section so you can stand up in it and take pictures. You know what I'm saying? And wish you had the money the next day. I know I would. But ultimately, man, you're doing nothing but putting yourself at risk and wasting money.
Right.
I'm being honest, man. There comes a point where we got to start moving differently. There's something viral right now trending, the quarter zips and matcha movement. I love it. Young people are wearing quarter
Mhm.
zips. They trading in
Yeah,
their
yeah,
Nike Techs.
yeah.
They drinking matchas. I love matcha. I can already tell Elliot drinks some
I,
matcha.
actually, I've never had matcha.
What?
I've never had matcha.
You out of
Never
control.
ever.
I'm about to send
Never.
you a bag of matcha.
I hear it's amazing. From what I hear,
You
matcha's
never
amazing.
had
I've
matcha? Hold
never
on,
had it.
man. Stop the show.
No, I've never had it.
What do you drink Keefy before matcha? What are you
Yeah,
drinking? What coffee? Like
yeah.
nothing, just
Coffee, Cafe
straight.
Bustelo usually.
That's it. I mean, I got that over
Mhm,
there too, but no cold cream foam. No, they
mhm.
got all types of. What you straight
No,
black?
no, no. I mean, no. I definitely like some cream in there. Absolutely, 100%, man. I want my coffee to taste good. I ain't got nothing to prove. I got kids.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
you got to
No,
get the the matcha. The matcha is like velvet. It's like
I keep hearing this.
it's
You're
like
the third person to say this.
it's just like velvet. I can't.
Okay.
It's,
I mean,
it's
because listen, everybody swears by it. They're like, bro, I
you
got some
drink.
matcha and it's most amazing. I'm like, it's that good? Like, I mean, okay, I'll try it out.
Mrs. Davis just said banana protein matcha. I
Okay.
might gotta try that because that I love
Okay.
banana too. Banana looks like
Okay.
it definitely goes with matcha, man. Hey, look, y'all. I want to shout out to everybody, man. We've been a few different
Yeah.
places and spaces all at the same time. I see y'all. We was having a in-depth conversation over here, but we seen the comments. If there's anything that we didn't touch, please feel free, message us, etc. Man.
Please do.
Listen, as I said, please take the time, opportunity to check out my brother Elliot Raphael across all social media platforms, man.
Hmm.
Check out SpeakDads. It's real easy to find. It's what it says on the shirt and the hats. We would love to provide support in different ways, man. This is more than conversation. This is community, and we'll be up here every Thursday. I had my brain because
Hmm.
last week I think we had switched days for the holidays.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yep, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's it, man.
Absolutely.
Um, and we're just here to provide some type of support, have some conversation that hopefully helps people. May not help everybody, but if we can help one, we're good to go. Um,
That part. That
Elliot,
part.
you got a closing thought for this one, man?
Absolutely. All right, listen. So the holidays are going to be awesome, but don't let them define you. As a father of four, I can tell you it's not going to matter for more than about the first 25 to 39 seconds that they open a gift, what it is. The other part is I want you to stop valuing yourself based on money so that when things get more expensive, your value is priceless.
Man, yeah.
And I'm not going to correct Chris, but I will say this one part we disagree. There ain't never a time you got nothing. You got breath in your chest, you got something, and someone gave it to
When
you.
did I say you ain't got nothing?
Do you hold it? We said, man, if you don't have nothing, I said, I hear you, but I don't do semantics. I've learned. That's
Oh
part
yeah,
of
I do
emotional
semantics. Yeah,
intelligence is letting
I
somebody
do.
complete an idea. I was like, but listen, there's never a time you have nothing, right? So you are truly priceless. And if you need it to be like, if speak as isn't working, you don't, and the phone's dead and everything, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and literally take the time to slow down a little bit and check on your intelligent friends, especially your strong ones. Just call them for no reason, not because you need nothing. You want to do something really cool for somebody, call them out of the blue and tell you I'm thinking about them. You'd be amazed how much it matters to people, especially on the holidays, especially the one that's so busy being there for somebody else. I promise you that.
Amen. And in a non-semantic way, for Elliot, I will say in a very shortened way, you know what's more important than presence under the tree? Your presence with your people.